Congressman John Larson, a Democrat, Walter Jones, a Republican, have teamed up to reintroduce the Fair Elections Now Act. And it's a pleasure to have both of you here. Congressman Larson, if I understand this correctly, this is not explicitly a law that eliminates fundraising, but one that seeks to control it and push it towards smaller donors. Can you educate us a little bit?
Well, yes, it is, Dylan. Certainly, it's not as expansive as your efforts with regard to a constitutional amendment. A noble goal. Of course, what we had to be very concerned about is Buckley versus Valero and the constitutional issues. But this is aimed at, as you said, taking money out of the process, aiming at getting you back in your district and getting campaign donations of under $100, and doing this across with a grassroots effort. We're pleased that Walter Jones has been a part of this, and of course, to have the Public Citizen, Common Cause, the Brennan Justice Center, and so many others that have been behind this. We're really heartened by it. More than 165 sponsors just last year, and that's why we're proud to introduce it.
Congressman Jones, why the decision to put yourself at risk and to put your own leadership at stake on this particular issue? And what do you think you can do to lead others from your political party to join you?
Dylan, I'm like John. I want to return, as you want to return, the power back to the people. And right now, fundraising in Washington, D.C. is like a Sodom and Gomorrah. It is out of control. The special interests have too much influence up here, and I want to see the people take back their government. That's why I want to thank you for your effort, and I want to thank my dear friend John Larson for allowing me to stand with him and work to see this become a reality.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, as you guys know, we here at the Dylan Ratigan Show and really have reached out to a lot of Americans at this point. Almost 230,000 people in less than a month have signed a petition demanding a debate on this issue. I suspect we can push well north of 1 million by Christmas, and our goal, I think, is to have 10, 20 million by the election next year. An interesting debate that really you can actually see on the Get Money Out website as we start to accumulate drafts of a constitutional amendment. Your piece of legislation, gentlemen, reflects what I call the Lawrence Lessig approach, which is we want to manage the flow of capital with the $100 donors, which is the Lawrence Lessig draft of the amendment. It's that second draft on there, and we're going to continue to add drafts for anybody who seems to have a point of view on this. But I'm interested as to why you guys decided that keeping money in but trying to manage it is something that can be managed, and how do you reconcile the fears of somebody like myself who says that's admirable, but you can't control the snake, the ability to infect any system. The snake has proven itself from Adam and Eve to be more powerful than any man, and I'm curious how the both of you reconcile that.
Well, you can't, we've always felt that you can't unilaterally disarm in a nuclear arms race. This is a step that is a desired step, and it's one actually, Dylan, that's been thought through by a number of the grassroots efforts. I mean, let's give, Common Cause and the Public Citizen.
For sure.
Justice Brennan said, the people who've given this an awful lot of thought, who have struggled with Buckley Valero and how we deal with the constitutional issue of speech. And this provided an opportunity for a member to either have things currently as they are with the status quo, or go to a version that still, as you point out, requires the ability to raise money, but understanding that in this day and age, with all the money that's needed to go on TV to get your message out and everything else, I mean, I would have a number of other reforms as it relates to campaigns, but this was a step, and we believe a step in the right direction.
Congressman Jones, how can people learn more? How can people get involved with forcing this debate into the 2012 presidential election, whether it's with your legislation or Lawrence Lessig's amendment or anything else that's here?
Well, thank you first again for your effort, and we wanted the people to know, and thank you again for this opportunity for John Larson and myself to say that we are trying. We need the American people to get behind this legislation, to call their members of Congress and say, get behind this legislation and let's return power back to the people.
Well, you know what will be interesting as we continue to watch this petition grow, perhaps one or both of you could join us for some form of direct engagement using the internet. I don't know whether it would be what the mechanism would be to just join a debate with these people that I think do agree with you. There's a lot of skepticism criticism of people both in your jobs, quite candidly, as well as mine. And as I say to people, it is only to be judged by your actions at this point, because our words have been proven of little value.
And you know, Dylan, to your point, there are many people, I dare say, both in corporate America and those who lobby on K Street, who would welcome this as well. Let's make Washington, D.C. and the Congress a place where the exchange is the vitality of ideas, not the exchange of PAC money.
And if people want to learn more about this particular piece of legislation, where ought they go?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dylan. Thank you.
And it's the Fair Elections Act, F-A-I-R, Fair Elections Act now. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right, listen, thank you, guys. We'll talk to you soon.